Not just any pig can make that happen, unless it's the Iberico pig, a jet-black breed hailed as the living luxury brand of the culinary world. But have you ever wondered how more than 1.2 million Iberico pigs are raised and processed each year? From eco-villas nestled in oak forests, these black pigs are free-range raised under a carefully controlled diet until they reach peak condition for harvest. The magic begins when they pass through the factory gates, where cutting-edge technology meets time-honored craftsmanship to create a true symphony of flavors, from richly seasoned chorizo sausages to the legendary Jamón Ibérico hams. Today, join Agriculture Insight as we uncover the secrets behind one of the world's most luxurious food industries and reveal why a single leg of Iberico ham can command such an astonishing price. All of that coming up in this video. The Iberico pig is a native breed of the Iberian Peninsula, a sun-drenched land stretching across Spain and Portugal. More than just livestock, these pigs are a culinary icon, deeply tied to the Dehesa oak forests and centuries-old tradition. Unlike industrial pigs, Iberico pork is renowned for its tenderness, rich marbling, deep flavor, and high content of heart-healthy oleic acid. This is thanks to a natural free-range lifestyle, a special acorn-based diet, and the meticulous care of experienced farmers. Over time, these robust black pigs have become four-legged money machines, playing a starring role in a luxury food industry worth over $3 billion annually. A single premium leg of Jamón Ibérico can sell for thousands of dollars, depending on the pig's purity, exclusive acorn diet, and years-long curing process. So if the culinary world had its own designer labels, would Jamón Ibérico be the Chanel, Gucci, or Hermes of food? It all begins in oak-filled pastures, where nature, humans, and time come together to raise the finest Iberico pigs, the very soul of this legendary delicacy. Here, the journey of an Iberico pig begins even before birth. The sow carries her piglets for about 4 months before giving birth to a healthy litter of 8 to 12 piglets. After birth, the piglets are exclusively nursed for the first 30 days, a crucial period that boosts their immune systems and helps them adjust to their surroundings. Once weaned, the piglets are separated from the mother and raised in groups of about 40 per pen. During this stage, they are fed a high-protein, energy-rich diet to ensure rapid and efficient weight gain. As their bodies begin to grow stronger, they are moved outdoors, where they start to get acquainted with nature. In these open areas, they continue to receive industrial feed, but also munch on any available vegetables, from banana stems and sweet potatoes to water spinach. True to the phrase, eating like a pig, they devour anything edible without the slightest fuss. With their bellies full, the pigs roll around in the dirt, soak in muddy puddles, and doze under the afternoon sun, as if indulging in a natural spa day right in the heart of the oak forest. Once they're big enough, the pigs graduate from the barns and step into a life of freedom among the oak forests, a crucial phase that defines the signature richness and flavor of Jamón Ibérico. Their main food source at this stage is acorns, but there's an interesting detail. Acorns grow on branches 4 to 6 meters high. Since pigs can't climb trees, how do they get them? Farmers use long sticks to knock the acorns down, while the pigs eagerly wait below, ready to enjoy the acorn rain as it falls. But eating isn't all they do. The pigs must keep moving as they forage, turning mealtime into a natural daily workout. This constant activity strengthens their legs and muscles, creating firm, flavorful meat with beautiful marbled fat, the hallmark of Jamón Ibérico's worldwide reputation. After around 14 to 18 months, once the pigs reach their ideal condition, they are taken into processing to be turned into premium products, the most renowned of which is Jamón Ibérico. On the same day, they are transported to processing facilities where every step is carried out swiftly, yet with meticulous care and precision. The hind legs, the primary cut used for jamón, are carefully trimmed, with excess fat and skin removed in preparation for the salting stage. Other parts, such as the front shoulder, paleta, loin, and tenderloin, are deboned and separated for different uses, including making sausages and cured meats. Once sorted, the lean cuts are hung on large trays and moved to the sausage processing area. When made from Iberico pork, these sausages are known as chorizo iberico, a traditional Spanish delicacy. In the production process of chorizo iberico, the pork is first finely ground using high-capacity industrial machines capable of processing hundreds of kilograms per hour. The evenly shredded meat is then transported along a conveyor belt and arranged into piles, ready for the seasoning stage. Spices such as salt, paprika, and garlic are sprinkled directly onto each batch of meat, which is then transferred to a large industrial mixer with rotating blades. This mixing process ensures a uniform, flavorful blend where all ingredients are evenly incorporated. Next, the seasoned meat is moved to a specialized mixer, where it is combined with Iberico pork fat and traditional spices, creating a rich, juicy texture and the signature bold flavor. The mixture is continuously blended for 1 to 2 hours until it reaches the perfect level of smoothness, elasticity, and consistency, ready for casing. Cleaned pork casings are attached to an automatic stuffing machine, where the meat mixture is pumped in at a consistent pressure, forming chorizo links with uniform length and diameter. Once stuffed, the sausages are hung on trays and moved into fermentation and curing chambers, where the temperature is maintained between 12 and 16 degrees for a period of 4 to 12 weeks. During this stage, the sausages develop their signature aroma, while the meat inside gradually firms up, resulting in the perfect texture, fragrant, flavorful, and irresistibly rich. Finally, the chorizo sausages are packaged and distributed to the market, typically priced at around $20 per piece. Now let's dive into the process of creating the finest Jamón Ibérico. The pork legs are placed on a conveyor belt to begin the next stages of preparation. Here, skilled workers use sharp knives to carefully remove part of the skin and outer fat layer. This step not only reshapes the leg, but also allows the salt to penetrate more evenly during the upcoming curing phase. Every cut requires absolute precision. Even the slightest mistake could affect the final quality. After this initial trimming, each leg is tagged with a unique barcode, allowing for full traceability and quality assurance throughout the entire production process. After preliminary processing, the pork legs are transferred to the salting area. Here, pure sea salt is evenly applied to each leg, either through an automated system or by hand. With machines, the salt is distributed with precision. In traditional methods, skilled artisans meticulously rub the salt by hand, adjusting to the unique shape of each leg. Regardless of the method used, the goal remains the same: for the salt to penetrate deeply, evenly, and appropriately, forming the foundation for the harmonious, rich flavor of Jamón Ibérico. Once the hams have been coated with salt, they are moved into a specialized pressing system equipped with pressure rollers. Inside the machine, each ham is gently compressed between 2 conveyor belts and passed through a series of rollers, ensuring even pressure across the entire surface. This step helps the salt penetrate deeper into the layers of meat while maintaining the ham's uniform shape and structure. Next, the hams are automatically transferred to the salting chamber, a cold room maintained at temperatures between 1 degree Celsius and 5 degrees Celsius. Here, pure sea salt continues to be evenly sprinkled over the surface, both to preserve the meat and to develop the distinctive flavor of Jamón Ibérico. The stable cold environment allows the salt to slowly and evenly diffuse into the meat, gradually drawing out moisture without damaging the protein structure, laying a solid foundation for the curing stages that follow. The salting process typically lasts between 1 and 2 weeks, depending on the weight of each ham, and is carefully managed to preserve the integrity of the meat. Once completed, the Iberico hams move on to the cleaning stage, in preparation for the final curing phase. The hams are hung using ropes and moved via an automated conveyor system to the brushing station, where soft rollers gently remove any excess salt. Next, the hams are rinsed with cold water to wash away any remaining salt and thoroughly clean the surface. After rinsing, the hams are placed into a specialized pressing machine for shaping. This equipment uses durable plastic molds to gently compress the meat, enhancing its structure and evenly distributing the fat and lean muscle. Next, a skilled artisan lightly taps each ham's surface, a traditional technique used to detect internal voids or defects before moving on to the drying phase. The hams are then placed on trays and moved into enclosed chambers, marking the start of the drying phase, an essential step that determines both texture and flavor. During the first 90 days, the hams are kept in rooms with controlled temperature and humidity, maintained at around 3 degrees Celsius and 90% humidity. This environment allows the meat to dry gradually without losing moisture too quickly, helping preserve its natural tenderness and elasticity. This gradual transformation also helps form a natural outer crust, while the meat inside slowly develops a richer umami flavor. After 90 days, the hams are moved to the upper floors, areas with better air circulation and more stable temperatures. Here, they begin to interact with the outside environment in a carefully controlled manner. Artisan workers open windows and ventilation shutters in the attic chambers to allow sunlight and natural breezes to enter. The amount of light and airflow is adjusted throughout the day to prevent the hams from drying too quickly or unevenly. The goal of this stage is to allow sunlight and fresh air to gently complete the drying process, enhancing the signature aroma and texture, firm on the outside yet tender and flavorful within. After the natural drying process is complete, the ham is lowered and prepared for the next important step, applying fat. A thin layer of fat, usually refined pork fat or extra virgin olive oil, is evenly spread over the entire surface of the ham, with special attention given to the muscle areas. This creates a protective barrier that prevents air and moisture from escaping too quickly, avoiding excessive drying or cracking during the extended curing period. This layer of fat not only helps retain moisture, but also maintains the ham's tenderness and distinctive flavor, while adding an appealing glossy finish to the product. Thanks to this step, the ham can continue the curing and fermentation process perfectly, developing rich aromas and a firm yet tender texture, resulting in an exceptional eating experience when fully matured. In the extended curing phase, after being coated with protective fat, the Iberico hams are placed into curing cellars, dark, quiet spaces with strictly controlled conditions, ideal for continuing the natural fermentation process that lasts from 2 to 3 years. Throughout this period, the ambient temperature gradually rises up to 25 degrees Celsius, allowing moisture in the meat to evaporate slowly. On average, each ham loses about 1 kilogram in weight. Meanwhile, natural enzymes quietly break down proteins and fats into aromatic compounds, creating the distinctive, intoxicating aroma of Jamón Ibérico. If you ever notice white or green mold on the surface of these hams, don't worry. This is a completely natural and harmless phenomenon. In fact, it plays a crucial role in regulating humidity and developing the flavor. As the curing process approaches 2 years, expert tasters perform a sensory evaluation using a traditional technique known as kala. A small probe made from horsebone is inserted into several points on the ham. The artisan then smells the aromas released to determine whether the ham has reached optimal maturity. At the same time, other criteria such as the firmness of the meat, fat distribution, and overall color are also assessed. Only the hams that meet all these strict standards are certified as premium quality Jamon. Each ham that meets the quality standards after the long curing process is taken down from the cellar and moved to the final processing area, where every finishing step is carried out with care and precision. Here, each ham is branded with a traditional hot iron stamp, a symbol that clearly certifies its origin and premium quality. This mark holds legal value, but more importantly, it stands as undeniable proof of the years of patience, dedication, and expert craftsmanship behind each piece. After branding, every ham is clearly labeled with important details, including product type, year of production, region of origin, and relevant certifications. This final step ensures transparency, traceability, and consumer trust. Finally, the ham is wrapped in traditional wax paper or vacuum sealed using modern technology to optimally preserve its rich flavor and perfect texture throughout transportation and storage, ready to reach the customer at its absolute best. In addition to whole legs, Jamón Ibérico is also sold in smaller blocks or thin slices for consumer convenience. When preparing it for slicing, the outer layer of skin is first removed to expose the meat and eliminate any residual salt or impurities on the surface. The bone is then carefully extracted, either by hand or using specialized machinery, to ensure the meat's structure remains intact and undamaged. Once deboned, the ham is pressed into a rectangular shape for easier packaging, and finally vacuum sealed to preserve its freshness and optimal quality. For sliced versions, modern cutting machines shave the ham into ultra-thin slices, almost translucent, while maintaining both texture and flavor. These slices are then transported by conveyor belt to an automated packing area, where the entire process is carried out quickly and with high precision. The entire operation takes place in a strictly controlled environment, with hygiene and temperature closely monitored to ensure every slice meets the highest quality standards. Thanks to this process, consumers can enjoy the distinctive taste of Jamón Ibérico in a convenient format, without sacrificing the essence of tradition. The most authentic way to enjoy Jamón Ibérico is by serving it in thin, even slices, arranged in a circular flower shape or layered neatly, garnished with a sprig of rosemary or a few olives to create a luxurious and irresistible dish. And that is the well-deserved conclusion to the journey. From a humble black Iberian pig to exquisite slices of Jamón Ibérico, the result of time, craftsmanship, and nature in perfect harmony. The United States is often referred to as the Kingdom of Turkeys, producing the largest quantity of turkeys in the world, accounting for approximately 46.6% of global production, 6 times more than Poland, the second largest producer. In the US, turkey holds a special place in culinary tradition, especially during major holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. During the festive season's peak weeks, over 45 million turkeys are consumed, mainly as the centerpiece of traditional family dinners, typically served with cranberry sauce. This large-scale consumption has prompted many to reflect on how to balance long-standing cultural customs with growing ethical considerations around the use of animals for food. While traditional turkeys, like the bronze or bourbon red breeds, are still raised on open pastures and can reproduce naturally like any other poultry, modern broad-breasted whites have lost that ability. They've been selectively bred for such oversized breasts that natural mating is physically impossible, forcing the entire industry to rely on artificial insemination to sustain the breed. Insemination is a critical step in genetic control. For artificial insemination, a device called an insemination machine is used, consisting of 2 main parts, one for collecting semen from the male turkey and another for injecting it into the female. Male turkeys have internal reproductive organs and lack a penis like many other animals. Instead, they have a cloaca. To collect semen, technicians must manually stimulate the bird with the correct technique and posture to extract sperm. Afterward, the female is held in place by hand, and a specialized syringe or pump is used to insert the semen collected earlier. On average, an industrial farm can inseminate between 1,000 and 3,000 hens per day. After artificial insemination, turkeys are placed in individual enclosures specially designed for comfort. Every factor, from lighting and temperature to ambient noise, must be tightly controlled. Even small deviations in temperature or light cycles can reduce reproductive performance by as much as 30%. In intensive farming conditions, some birds exhibit signs of depression, such as withdrawal, unusual vocalizations, and loss of appetite. After just a few days, the turkeys enter their egg-laying phase. On average, each hen can produce around 100 eggs throughout its reproductive cycle. At the right moment, the eggs are gently laid and roll onto conveyor belts located just below their enclosures. This modern system collects thousands of eggs daily, without causing cracks or deformities. The eggs are then transported directly to the storage area and placed onto specialized trays. After laying, the hens are returned to the rearing area to rest and regain their energy. After being collected, the eggs are carefully packed and quickly transported to hatcheries to ensure they maintain the quality needed to become healthy chicks. Once they arrive, the egg trays are placed in the incubation area, where the hatching process begins automatically. To ensure successful incubation, staff must properly seal the incubators and select the appropriate settings for temperature and humidity. During operation, the trays inside the incubators gently rotate to distribute heat evenly, typically maintaining a temperature range of 37 to 38 degrees Celsius. After a few days, staff open the incubators and remove the trays to check hatch rates using the candling method. The light allows clear observation of the embryo's development inside each egg. After about 28 days, the chicks begin to hatch, emitting soft peeping sounds from within the shells, marking the arrival of new life as each chick gradually breaks free and enters the world. After hatching, the chicks are placed into sturdy trays and transported onto a conveyor belt. At this stage, the automated system carefully moves each chick toward a specialized machine designed to remove leftover eggshell fragments. In the past, this process was done manually, taking 10 to 15 minutes per chick. But today, thanks to automation, hundreds of chicks can be cleaned in just 1 to 2 minutes, significantly faster and more efficient, while maintaining safety standards. Once freed from their cumbersome shells, the chicks are quickly carried by conveyor to the next stage, gender sorting. Here, trained staff manually examine each chick's feather color, body size, and other features to distinguish males from females. After sorting, the chicks follow separate conveyor lines, marking the start of different journeys. The mini turkey ladies are prioritized for the next stages, as they're more suitable for meat and egg production. Meanwhile, male chicks that don't meet production standards, typically due to small size or unsuitability for meat yield, are separated and sent to the byproduct processing system. In this area, they are fed into a specialized grinder that turns them into a protein-rich paste. As for the selected females, they continue on the conveyor toward the vaccination stage. Workers place each chick in the correct position on the system, and the automated equipment delivers accurate injections in seconds. These vaccines protect the chicks from common diseases such as infections, enteritis, neurological disorders, avian flu, and E. coli. After the initial processing steps are completed, the turkey poults are placed into multi-tiered plastic trays with ventilation holes to ensure proper airflow and prevent suffocation. These trays are then loaded into climate-controlled transport vehicles, where the temperature is maintained at around 32 to 35 degrees Celsius, ideal for the sensitive body temperature of newly hatched turkeys. From there, the poults are transported to satellite farms to begin the grow-out phase. Unlike adult turkeys, housing for turkey poults requires much more careful preparation. Before the chicks are brought in, workers cover the floor with a layer of wood shavings or dry straw to retain warmth and absorb moisture, both critical in the first few days. Then each tray of poults is gently placed onto the bedding, helping them adjust smoothly to their new environment without stress. Turkey poults can take up to 2 to 3 days to learn how to eat and drink on their own, unlike other poultry species that are quicker and more independent. To support them, the initial feed consists of concentrated, protein-rich pellets that are easy to digest and placed directly on the floor. Fresh water is always available in shallow trays to prevent dehydration. In just 1 week, a single poult can gain over 400 to 500 grams, with growth rates during the first month being nearly 1.8 times faster than that of conventional broiler chickens. This rapid development quickly makes the once spacious housing feel cramped. Even as they double or triple in size, the poults continue to live in groups until they reach full maturity. By around 2 months of age, turkeys begin to show their distinctive features. Smooth white feathers, nearly bare necks, and eyes that sparkle like tiny crystals, signaling the start of a new growth phase. And finally, the moment every poultry farmer waits for has arrived. When the turkeys have fully matured, reaching weights of 12 to 20 kilograms each, and the barns begin to feel overcrowded, they enter the harvesting phase. Typically, turkeys are caught at night, a time when they are less active and have slower reflexes, which helps reduce stress across the flock. Workers carefully walk through the barns, using their hands or specialized tools to catch each large turkey, then place them into dedicated transport crates, each holding about 4 to 6 birds, depending on their weight. Once the crates are filled, they are loaded onto specially designed trucks, equipped with ventilation systems and anti-slip flooring to ensure a safe and stable journey. When the trucks arrive at the processing plant, the turkey crates are carefully unloaded and quickly transferred to the receiving area. Here, each turkey is weighed and undergoes a basic health check, with key indicators such as weight and condition being recorded, marking the first step in the plant's quality control process. Throughout this stage, a specialized blue lighting system is used. This calming light helps reduce stress and keeps the turkeys in a stable state after the long transport journey. Next, the system tilts the crates, causing the turkeys to gently slide into the processing area. Here, workers manually lift each turkey into the handling system. Once the bird is rendered unconscious, it is immersed in a hot water tank. The high temperature of the water helps loosen the feathers, making the defeathering process faster and easier. The turkeys are then transferred to specialized machines designed to remove feathers. These defeathering machines are equipped with soft rubber rollers that gently rub against the skin, separating feathers without damaging or scratching the meat's surface. The turkey's legs are removed by an automated blade system, operating at near blink-of-an-eye speed. As each bird passes through, the blade drops and delivers a clean, decisive cut in less than a second. The legs fall straight into a collection trough, completely separated from the body, moving forward on the conveyor. The turkey's body moves to the internal processing station. Here, an automated system creates a precise opening, followed by a specialized suction mechanism that gently collects internal components such as the liver, heart, and intestines. These parts are then directed onto a lower conveyor belt, kept separate from the main body, and sent to a dedicated byproduct processing line. In a separate area, specialists analyze chemical samples such as hydrogen peroxide, peracetic acid, or chlorine-based compounds before use. These substances help clean and brighten the turkey's skin. Although the process remains controversial, no scientific study has definitively confirmed any specific health risks. What's your take on this? The turkeys are then moved by conveyor to pre-mixed chemical baths. During soaking, an aeration system keeps the solution circulating to ensure even distribution and effective whitening across the skin surface. After being soaked in the chemical solution, the turkeys return to the familiar conveyor belt to continue the process. First, they pass through a clean water rinsing system that removes any remaining chemicals from the skin. After rinsing, the turkeys are transferred to a high-speed drying line, approximately 50 meters long. They are dried using hot air to remove any remaining moisture on the skin. In addition to rapid drying through heated airflow, the turkeys are rotated at high speed to accelerate the process while minimizing exposure to the external environment. The drying system is equipped with multiple powerful fans that ensure even heat distribution across the entire body of each turkey. After drying, the turkeys pass through an optical sorting system equipped with high-speed cameras capable of scanning up to 9,000 birds per hour. The system analyzes every detail on the surface of the skin, from bruises and scratches to uneven coloration. Image processing algorithms identify any defects and trigger mechanical arms to divert substandard birds onto a separate conveyor. Next, the turkey bodies are secured and moved through an automated wing cutting station. The system uses sensors to precisely locate the joint between the wing and the body, then sharp blades descend to separate each wing within seconds. The wings are collected on a conveyor belt below and transferred to a separate processing stage. The remaining meat, excluding the legs and wings, is sent to another processing station through the breast cutting machine. Here, sharp blades glide swiftly and precisely to separate the thick, tender breast meat from the carcass. If the wings and breast are the easy cuts, then the turkey thigh is a true mechanical challenge. The thigh joint, where the thick muscle meets the pelvic bone, doesn't always sit in a perfect position. That's why the thigh separation system uses curved blades and pressure sensors, not just to cut, but to slip precisely into the natural break point of the joint. Now, everything moves into the final stage, the packaging line. Remember the internal organs we separated earlier, where speed and precision approach perfection? Breast meat, liver, heart, thighs, all cleaned and sorted, roll steadily along the automated conveyors toward high-accuracy electronic scales that measure each portion down to the gram. Next, tray sealing and vacuum packing machines take over, creating clean, uniform, retail-ready products. Each pack is labeled not only with the production date, but also a QR code that traces the entire journey, from farm to table. Every minute, hundreds of portions are inspected, sealed, and sent straight into cold storage, ready for shipment. From industrial farms to fully automated processing lines, the journey of the turkey is a snapshot of the modern global food supply chain, where technology, logistics, and appetite converge. And next time you bite into a turkey sausage or enjoy a perfectly roasted holiday bird, remember, behind that flavor lies a massive, evolving system built for one purpose: delivering clean, safe, and convenient food to millions of families around the world. Are your cows truly living a happy life? When cows are happy, they give back in the best way they know how, with rich, creamy milk. But when stress creeps in, whether it's a noisy barn, a sudden change in routine, or just a grumpy farmer in a bad mood, milk production dips, the barn gets tense, and suddenly, even the cows aren't smiling anymore. Modern dairy farming represents a true revolution, a dramatic leap from the traditional practices that sustained human civilization for over 8,000 years. And today, producing over 900 billion liters of milk each year is no longer the sole measure of success. That's why more and more farmers are returning to their roots, adopting pasture-based and organic dairy farming models. Instead of confining cows in enclosed industrial barns, these farms allow them to roam freely for 6 to 12 hours a day on wide-open pastures, living according to their natural biological rhythms. Each cow is milked only once or twice a day, usually in the morning and afternoon, and only when they are truly ready, producing cool, nutrient-rich milk at its best. These pasture-based and organic models are mainly concentrated in Europe, New Zealand, Australia, and certain U.S. states such as California, Oregon, and Vermont, where mild climates, abundant grasslands, and ethically minded consumers create the ideal conditions for sustainable dairy. Milk yields in these systems are lower, at just 15 to 25 liters per cow daily, but the milk is higher in quality, with more natural fats, omega-3s, and minimal residues. However, due to higher costs and lower yields, organic dairy models are still unable to meet the growing global demand for milk. As a result, industrial dairy farming now accounts for over 90% of the world's total milk production and continues to play a crucial role in the global food supply chain, delivering economic value, high productivity, and operational stability that smaller-scale systems have yet to match. And to keep that massive dairy empire running, everything begins with vast green pastures, where grasses like alfalfa, oatgrass, ryegrass, and corn are carefully cultivated, officially entering the harvest season in late spring or early summer. Farmers invest in advanced machinery such as the John Deere or Krone EasyCut series, which use traditional rotary shaft or horizontal disc cutting systems. Immediately after being cut, the grass passes through a conditioner unit, which uses rubber rollers or metal tines to gently crimp the stems. This process helps the grass dry more evenly and creates ideal conditions for fermentation during the ensiling process that follows. After harvesting, the chopped forage is transported and dumped into a bunker silo, a large concrete or tarp-covered trench that can hold anywhere from several hundred to several thousand tons. Inside the silo, the forage is tightly compacted using trucks or rollers to remove air, then sealed with plastic sheets weighted down by tires or sandbags, creating anaerobic conditions where lactic acid bacteria ferment the material, lower the pH, and prevent spoilage. Once all the ingredients are ready, they are loaded into a TMR mixer to create a balanced feed tailored to each stage of the cow's development. If you're managing a herd of 10,000 dairy cows, the average daily feed requirement would be around 250 tons of silage, 50 tons of hay, 80 tons of ground corn, 40 tons of soybean meal, and 2 tons of minerals and vitamins. That's why, for many American farmers, dairy farming isn't an easy job. It's a lifelong investment, a treasured asset, and a symbol of pride passed down through generations. After the feed is mixed, an automatic feed pusher moves along the barn aisle, pushing the feed closer to the trough to make it easier for the cows to eat and to reduce waste. Though they may experience happiness in different ways, dairy cows raised on modern farms are still provided with dedicated welfare measures to help them achieve optimal health and productivity. Regular health checks are strictly carried out, from monitoring temperature and hoof conditions to observing gait and breathing patterns. Cows also receive routine hoof trimming to prevent infections and ensure they can stand and walk comfortably. Much like familiar pets such as dogs and cats, cows enjoy being stroked, scratched, and soothed after meals. That's why some farms have installed automated massage systems, gently rotating brushes placed right inside the barn, allowing cows to relax, reduce stress, and stimulate blood circulation. After around 15 to 16 months, the cows reach maturity and take on a greater mission: to give birth to the next generation, ensuring that the flow of milk never stops. This begins with one of the most important steps in dairy farming: fertilization. To better control breeding timing and optimize reproductive efficiency, most modern farms have adopted artificial insemination with the support of advanced technology. The exact timing of ovulation in dairy cows can now be pinpointed down to the hour, ensuring higher success rates and more efficient herd management. After 9 months of pregnancy, the mother cow gives birth to a calf. A sacred moment, but one that is far from easy. Calving can be quite challenging, especially for first-time mothers, and often requires direct assistance from the farmer to ensure the safety of both the cow and her newborn calf. But not all of these calves will get the chance to become mothers. After birth, male calves are typically separated from their mothers and sent to specialized facilities where they are raised for beef or veal production. although some may be selected for breeding if they show good genetic traits. Meanwhile, female calves are usually kept on the farm and raised in individual pens, bottle-fed, and carefully monitored for nutrition and health on a daily basis, because these young heifers are considered the future milk machines of the farm. After giving birth, this is the golden moment when the mother cow officially enters her lactation phase, which typically lasts around 9 to 10 months. Before milking, the udder is carefully cleaned with warm water and a sanitizing solution, then dried with a soft towel, and each teat is briefly checked for any signs of infection or inflammation. This step is crucial. Not only does it ensure milk hygiene, but it also helps the cow feel relaxed and comfortable, making her more ready for the milking process. When it's time for milking, the mother cows are guided to an automated milking station where the process is smooth and stress-free. The automated milking system gently attaches to the udder, mimicking the natural sucking motion of a calf. Each cow can produce around 30 to 40 liters of milk per day, and that's why, at large farms, total daily production can exceed 50,000 liters, enough to fill a small swimming pool. The milk flows directly through a closed pipeline system into a stainless steel cooling tank, kept at 4 degrees Celsius to preserve freshness and prevent bacterial growth. And that's just one half of the cow's journey. Within just a few hours of being collected, the milk is transported in specialized insulated tankers to the processing plant, where the second half of its journey begins, transforming into fresh milk, butter, cheese, or meat for millions of families. First, for dairy-based products. As soon as the tankers carrying tens of thousands of liters of milk arrive at the factory, the fresh milk is pumped into large stainless steel storage silos. Before entering the main processing line, each batch of milk must undergo a strict quality control process. Samples are tested to measure fat content, protein levels, pH, and most importantly, to check for microbial contamination, antibiotic residues, and impurities. If a batch of milk fails to meet the required standards, it is immediately rejected and never enters the production line. To produce fresh milk or butter, the process always begins with an essential preliminary step: cream separation. Although this step carries the same name, the way fat content is handled can vary, and if you're not paying close attention, it's easy to get confused. In cow's milk, since the natural fat content can fluctuate, the milk is first pasteurized and then separated into cream and skim milk using a centrifuge, leaving the skim milk with a residual fat content of around 0.05% to 0.1%. That's why, after separation, an exact amount of cream is added back into the skim milk to create different types of milk with specific fat levels, such as whole milk around 3.25% fat, reduced fat milk, typically 2%, low-fat milk, or fat-free milk, 0.1%. However, when cream is separated for butter production, the process is handled differently. The cream is kept in its natural liquid form, with a fat content ranging from 35% to 40%, and it becomes the key ingredient for churning those golden, smooth, and richly flavored blocks of butter we all know and love. The milk is then passed through a homogenizer, where large fat globules are broken down under high pressure and evenly dispersed throughout the liquid. This process prevents the milk from separating, preserves a smooth texture, and makes it easier to digest. To ensure safety, the milk is pasteurized once more before entering the packaging stage, where it is prepared for distribution to consumers. Meanwhile, the cream collected during the earlier separation stage is further processed to produce butter. Before moving on to the churning stage, the cream must be pasteurized to eliminate harmful bacteria while preserving its natural flavor. It is quickly heated to 72 degrees Celsius for 15 seconds, just enough to kill bacteria without affecting the fat or flavor, and then rapidly cooled to prepare for the butter churning process. Next, if cream separation is the foundation of milk production, then churning is the heart of the butter making process. The cream is poured into an industrial butter churn and continuously agitated to break down the fat structure. At first, the cream gradually thickens, and then tiny butter granules begin to form and clump together into smooth, solid butter. The remaining liquid, known as buttermilk, is separated and collected for use in other products, such as baking goods, salad dressings, or cultured dairy drinks. After the butter has formed, it is washed with cold water to remove any remaining buttermilk, helping it last longer and preventing it from turning sour. A specialized machine then kneads and mixes the butter to achieve a smooth, uniform texture. Flavorings such as salt or herbs can be added at this stage to enhance taste and create different butter varieties. This is the step that defines the unique flavor profiles of famous butter brands like Land O'Lakes, Kerrygold, or President. Once the butter reaches the desired smoothness, fat content, and flavor, it is transferred to a molding machine, where it is shaped into sticks, blocks, or larger portions, depending on the intended use. While dairy butter continues to dominate global production, vegan butter, typically made from plant-based ingredients like coconut oil, soybean oil, or avocado, is quickly gaining popularity thanks to the rising demand for plant-based diets and sustainable alternatives, offering a similar taste and texture without any animal products. When it comes to cheese, the journey of cow's milk takes an entirely different turn, contributing to a global consumption that exceeds 21.6 million metric tons each year. After the milk is pasteurized and stabilized, lactic acid bacteria are added. These beneficial microbes begin the fermentation process, converting lactose into lactic acid, creating the ideal environment for the milk to coagulate. Next, rennet enzyme is introduced, causing the milk proteins, primarily casein, to bond together and form a solid mass known as curd. In traditional cheesemaking, natural rennet is often used, extracted from the stomachs of young male calves that are not kept for dairy herds, and obtaining this enzyme requires the calf to be slaughtered at a very early age. In contrast, in large-scale modern production, where millions of tons of cheese are made each year, rennet is typically produced through biotechnology to reduce costs and ensure consistent quality. Once the milk has fully coagulated, large blades gently cut the curd into small cubes, allowing the whey, the liquid portion, to separate from the solids. The curds are then continuously stirred and gradually heated, causing them to shrink and release more moisture. The temperature and duration of this process play a crucial role in determining the cheese's texture, whether it ends up soft like mozzarella or firm like cheddar. Once the curd is firmed up, the liquid whey is separated. This byproduct serves as the raw material for producing whey protein, a widely used nutritional supplement in bodybuilding, sports nutrition, and medical diets. The remaining fresh cheese is placed into molds and pressed under high pressure to shape it and further expel excess moisture. The amount of pressure and pressing time directly influence the final moisture content of the cheese, a critical factor in distinguishing different cheese types. After pressing, the cheese is removed from the mold and enters the next essential stage, salting. Cheese can either be soaked in a brine bath or have salt rubbed directly onto its surface. Salt not only enhances flavor, but also helps regulate moisture, form the rind, and inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria. After salting, the cheese wheels are transferred to an aging room where temperature and humidity are carefully controlled. Depending on the type of cheese, the aging process can last anywhere from a few days to several years. And it is this stage that defines the cheese's richness, texture, and distinctive aroma. Have you ever wondered what happens when mother cows can no longer produce that sweet, nourishing stream of milk? They leave the farm, closing the chapter of milk and opening a new one, where every cut of meat continues the story of devotion and purpose. Before entering this final stage, thousands of dairy cows are given a period of rest, typically around 24 hours, after a long journey of transportation. While countries like India treat cows as sacred and focus primarily on dairy, others, like Japan and members of the European Union, are advancing strict animal welfare standards, proving that cow farming is as much about culture and values as it is about food. After the cow is restrained and comes into contact with the electrodes, an electric current of 1.5 to 2.5 amps is passed through the brain for about 3 seconds, rendering the animal unconscious instantly and ready for the next stage of the process. After the carcass has been suspended and the legs removed, the hide removal process officially begins, a critical step that requires seamless coordination between skilled workers and modern machinery. Once activated, a rotating drum gradually pulls the hide away from the carcass in a clean and even motion, without damaging the valuable meat underneath. The entire process is swift but demands high precision to ensure the quality of both the hide and the meat is preserved. Dairy cow hides are generally not used to produce high-end leather goods like handbags or dress shoes, as their fibers are looser and the hides are typically thinner and lower in quality compared to beef cattle hides. Instead, they are more commonly used for industrial purposes, such as making gloves, leather mats, or recycled leather materials. After the hide and internal organs are removed, the carcass undergoes a final inspection by the quality control team. If it meets all required standards, it is stamped with a health inspection mark or affixed with a certification label, confirming that the meat is safe and ready for commercial processing. The clean carcass is then transferred to a blast chilling room, where the temperature is maintained between 0 and 4 degrees Celsius. Once the carcass reaches the required temperature, it is moved into the deboning and cutting area. However, unlike premium beef breeds known for their rich marbling, tenderness, and juiciness when grilled, meat from older dairy cows tends to be tougher, leaner, and less visually appealing. Instead, most of the meat is sent for industrial processing, turned into products like sausages, pâté, meatballs, or ground beef. Thanks to its strong flavor and firm texture, this type of meat is especially well suited for slow-cooked dishes or recipes requiring high heat. From the first drop of milk to the final cut of meat, the life of a dairy cow is a story of devotion, transformation, and the unseen journey behind the food we often take for granted. Across peaceful fields, goats do more than just contribute to the economy. They bring an unmatched vibrancy to every farm. With their curious and agile nature, they are never still, constantly exploring the world in their own unique way, filling their surroundings with energy and mischief. Despite their small size and playful demeanor, goats are a true treasure to humanity. Few realize that these remarkable creatures generate over $13 billion annually for the global economy, from nutrient-rich milk and flavorful meat to essential everyday products. A massive value hidden behind a humble appearance. On the farm, goats no longer have to compete for grass in the fields, but are provided with a premium, well-balanced diet under strict control. Modern machinery harvests fresh grass, then chops, cleans, and evenly distributes it through an automatic feeding system. Each goat receives an equal portion, along with protein-rich pellets and natural minerals, all adjusted to their age and condition. This ensures optimal nutrition, keeping them healthy and strong. When the goats show signs of readiness for milking, they are brought to the milking area, where the process is carefully carried out using modern machinery to ensure the collection of fresh, nutrient-rich milk. Goats are gently secured on a platform to prevent movement and reduce stress. Before milking starts, an automatic feeding system provides snacks to keep the goats happy throughout the process. The goats' udders are then carefully cleaned and gently massaged to stimulate milk flow. The milking machines, equipped with soft silicone cups that mimic natural suckling, gently attach to the udders and begin extracting the milk. These high-tech milking machines operate quickly and efficiently, usually taking 5 to 10 minutes to milk each goat. In addition to traditional milking stalls, modern farms now use carousel-style milking systems, which allow multiple goats to be milked simultaneously with high precision and efficiency. The continuous rotation of the carousel ensures a fast, clean, and stress-free milking process. Once the milking is complete, the milk is transferred through stainless steel pipes into specialized storage tanks for processing. The first step is filtration, which removes impurities such as hair, dirt, or small particles. After filtration, the milk is rapidly chilled to around 4 degrees Celsius to prevent bacterial growth and maintain its fresh taste. After rigorous quality checks, the milk is transferred to large tanks, ready for the next stages of processing. One of the most popular goat milk products is cheese. The cheese-making process begins with pasteurizing the milk. There are 2 common pasteurization methods: quick pasteurization and slow pasteurization. Among them, slow pasteurization is preferred for its ability to retain the milk's natural flavor. This method involves heating the milk to 63 to 65 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes to kill bacteria without destroying essential nutrients. After pasteurization, the milk can be rapidly cooled to maintain its freshness, natural flavor, and nutritional value. It is then transferred to a sterile packaging line, where it is poured into plastic bottles or cartons to ensure food safety. Throughout this process, every step takes place in a strictly controlled environment to prevent bacterial contamination. Once packaged, the milk is labeled with complete information about its origin, expiration date, and nutritional content before being stored in refrigerated warehouses. From there, it is transported under stable temperature conditions to stores, supermarkets, and distributors, ensuring the highest quality when it reaches consumers. If cheese is to be made, the milk undergoes further processing after pasteurization. Next, bacterial cultures, usually lactobacillus, are added to the milk. These bacteria convert lactose into lactic acid, causing the milk to curdle and develop its characteristic tangy flavor. Rennet, an enzyme from animal or plant sources, is then added to help the milk solidify into curds. This process typically takes 30 minutes to a few hours, depending on the type of cheese being produced. For certain types of blue-veined goat cheese, such as Blo de Chèvre or Monte Enambro, cheesemakers add a specific mold called Penicillium roqueforti at this stage. This mold grows throughout the aging process, creating the signature blue veins inside the cheese and developing a rich, slightly spicy flavor. Once the milk curdles, the curd is cut into smaller pieces using specialized tools. The size of the curds determines the final texture of the cheese. Smaller curds create firmer cheese, while larger curds result in softer cheese. The curds are then gently stirred to help separate the whey from the curds. This process usually takes 15 to 30 minutes. The whey is then drained and can be used for making other products like yogurt or butter. Once the curds reach the desired consistency, they are pressed into molds to create the final shape. For blue cheeses, the cheese is pierced with fine needles to allow air inside, encouraging the growth of penicillium mold, which creates the distinctive blue veins and tangy flavor. The cheese is then soaked in a salt brine to enhance flavor and improve shelf life. After salting, the cheese is moved to an aging room with controlled temperature and humidity. Depending on the type of cheese, the aging process can last from a few days to several months or even years. In modern factories, goat cheese is packaged using advanced automated systems for efficiency and hygiene. After aging, it is cut to size, vacuum sealed or wrapped in wax paper, and labeled with product details. Finally, workers pack the cheese into cartons for storage and distribution, ensuring freshness and quality. Besides milk, goat meat is one of the most important red meats in the world. It has a lower fat content than beef and pork, but is rich in protein and essential minerals. In modern processing facilities, goat meat is processed through a professional and strictly controlled system to ensure the highest product quality and freshness. After entering the factory, goats undergo a professional processing procedure that combines modern technology with skilled craftsmanship. They are cleaned, then sequentially go through leg removal, skinning, and evisceration with the support of specialized tools. The process is fast, precise, and hygienic, ensuring fresh, high-quality meat for the next processing stages. After the organs have been removed, the carcass is moved to the washing station. A high-pressure water spraying system thoroughly cleans the surface of the goat, removing any remaining dirt, hair, or impurities. Once the goat carcass is fully cleaned, it is hung on racks to drain any excess water before being packaged. Depending on customer requirements, the goat can be packaged whole or cut into smaller portions, such as ribs, leg cuts, or loin. The meat is then vacuum sealed or placed in plastic packaging to maintain freshness and prevent contamination. The packaged goat meat is stored in cold storage at a controlled temperature of -18 degrees Celsius to -20 degrees Celsius. This freezing process helps preserve the color, flavor, and texture of the meat, ensuring it stays fresh for longer periods. After packaging, goat meat is transported by refrigerated trucks or airplanes to maintain the proper temperature. It is distributed to supermarkets, restaurants, and international markets, ensuring freshness and high quality. Thanks to a modern system, the meat reaches the market quickly while maintaining top standards.